What up, world, and welcome to another edition of the Living the Dream podcast, man. We back at it again, man. It's your favorite day of the week. It's hump day, and it's time to get that good midweek motivation. It's your motivators, your inspirators, Coach Spaulding, and I got my man Tay.epps in the building.
Yes, you do. It's good, everybody. Hope everybody's great. Let's go.
Hey, man, as always, we thank the listeners, man. We thank y'all first and foremost for all the love and the support y'all been giving on the podcast, man. Everybody out there, man, keep listening, man. Keep downloading and keep sharing it.
Yep, and like I always say, you do not have to listen, but since you're taking the time to listen, thank you, much appreciation. Coach, let's rock.
On that, man. All right, so today we talking about procrastination, man. We talking about procrastination, man. Let me keep it simple for you. Procrastination is wait, it's hesitating, it's fear of failure, or even in some cases, man, it's fear of success. They all lead to procrastination, and they all dream killers.
Yep.
They all dream killers. And the problem with some of you, I'm just going to jump right in your chest. The problem with some of you is that you procrastinate because you wait. You know what I'm saying? You waiting on somebody to affirm your dreams. You waiting on that okay. You waiting on people to agree with you. Or my favorite, I'm waiting on the right time. And if I, you know what I'm saying? And if I can be honest, man, if you waiting on the right time, that might be for the rest of your life. That might be for the rest of your life, because it might not ever be the right time. Or it might not ever be the right circumstance. Or it might not ever be the right situation. So while you sitting there procrastinating, all you doing is letting your dreams just linger. You putting it on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? It's not really a priority to you. You know, you were the one that said you had dreams and you had goals, but ask yourself this, man. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? And for a lot of you, when it comes to procrastination, it's not a head thing. It's more of a heart thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a head problem, it's a heart problem. You believe it in your head, but you don't believe it in your heart. And because of that, it's hard for you to move and take action. You stuck in part because your heart ain't in it. You know, the dream sounds good in theory, but your heart ain't in it. You don't believe what you thinking about. And in order for you to stop procrastinating, you actually have to believe it, man. You have got to believe it. So I'm telling you the truth. The longer you procrastinate, the longer you wait, the less likely your dreams will become a reality, man. So Tay, man, so tell them why you think people procrastinate.
Yeah, I think people procrastinate a lot. It's not even because, you know what, when you say it's all in their head or it's not in their head, I agree with that. I think that people have something else in their head. They have the ego that we talked about on the last couple episodes ago, when I said you got this ego in your head that nobody cares about. So when you worried about this ego of what other people are going to say, people don't even know you, and you worried about these people thinking they know you, so you keep on waiting and you keep on waiting and you never start. And like you mentioned before, you waiting on the perfect time. And this is not just America. This is the world. It's never going to be a perfect time. You got to make the best of whatever time you have. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So the longer you wait, hey, I'm not even going to lie. You might die. You might just die. You might just die and never, ever, pursue that dream. And when it comes to like believing in your heart, I don't even think a lot of people believe in their heart when they procrastinate so long, because they so worried about other people's perceptions.
Yep.
Because, when you really believe, man, like all honesty, when you really got faith, nothing stops you. You just make the move.
Absolutely.
You just make the move straight up. So that's my thoughts on procrastination.
Absolutely, man. And that brings us to principle number 1, man. Like we just got 2 that we just really want you to hone in on and just think about, because we really think that this is important, man. Like principle number 1, you got to take it one day at a time.
Oh, yeah.
Like you got to take it one day at a time. Like set achievable goals for that day. Write out a daily schedule. This is how you win the day. This is how you win the day. This is how you eliminate procrastination within that day. I'm not talking about for 2 days. I'm not talking about for a week or a month. I'm talking about that day. And I'm not just telling you to win a day. I'm telling you to operate like this is your last day on earth. You know what I'm saying? Just like Tay said, man, like you might die.
Exactly.
You might die. Like think about it. If you knew that this was your last day on earth, you would give everything to make it count.
Yep.
You will give everything to make it count, man. When you take that mentality into every single day, you become more productive and you get a heck of a lot accomplished, man. So let me be transparent for a minute, man. I treat every speaking engagement, I treat every interview, and I treat every event like it's my last. Like this is my only opportunity. And that helps me put the right energy and the right effort into that particular opportunity, man. And it helps me to not procrastinate. And if I must be completely honest, I used to be big on procrastination. I used to be big on doing things in the last minute. I used to be big on doing things, putting things that are important last. And then when it comes up, it becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? But if you take it one day at a time, if you set achievable goals, man, and write your schedule out, man, it's a lot easier for you to win that day and get closer to your dreams. So tell them why it's important to take it one day at a time.
Yeah. Taking it one day at a time is very vital because if you don't take it one day at a time and you even try to do 2 days at a time or just try to do a week at a time in your head, and you fall in love with your imagination, even though imagination is good to have, but you fall in love with the imagination, how everything is going to be so perfect, everything's going to be all right. And then in reality, that's not how it goes because you took it more than one day at a time. So now you got a false sense of feeling overwhelmed. And anytime we really do feel overwhelmed, we procrastinate because we're trying to figure out how we going to structure, how we going to organize, how we going to prioritize this mess that we created up in our heads. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens when you don't take it one day at a time. And I'm going to tell you right now, we talked about it in the very first podcast we had when we said make a daily schedule to win the day. That gives you a sense of accomplishing. And when you have a sense of accomplishing, when you hack your mind, just to be a winner, you don't stop. Like you finish everything like it's your last. Like that's how you do it. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I ever been a procrastinator, but I have been one of those people who took it more than one day at a time, and I would move and try to complete things knowing that, listen, it's only January 1st and I'm trying to finish something that I got until June 6th.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And to your point, just to piggyback off that, like, I feel what you're saying, like, and then you become overwhelmed. Like you got everything in your hands now, instead of one or two things at a time, to when you got to that point, now you got everything. You try to juggle this and juggle that, something's going to slip through the cracks. Exactly. Something is going to slip through the cracks, man, and you're not going to get something done. And then you go ahead.
And then watch this, coach. When something does slip through the cracks, guess what? That discourages the average person. The average person becomes discouraged, and then guess what they do? They just stop. They just stop, and they say, you know what? It's messed up. I'm done. And then that procrastination thing, it's not even procrastination no more. It's just quit.
Yep. You just flat out quit. You just flat, and that's a fact, man. You just flat out quit. You know what I'm saying? So, and to our next point, man, like the principle number 2 is, man, look, man, you got to keep your eyes on the prize. Like you have got to keep your eyes on the prize. You know what the big picture is, so keep that in mind. You can't afford to waste another minute procrastinating on your dreams. When you procrastinate, that means you lost focus on the bigger picture. So stay focused, because the reality is this. It's not that you don't know, and that's why you procrastinate. It's just not a priority to you. Like it's just not that important, man. And it should be, because you know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly what it takes. You got the blueprint. But the problem is you don't value it the way that you need to get it done. You're doing everything else but what you should be doing. You ain't focused. You just ain't focused, man. And that's why you procrastinate. You took your eye off the ball. You looking around instead of looking ahead. You know when you're wasting time and not being productive. You know what you need to change. You know what you need to do differently. And I don't have to tell you what's already understood. So do yourself a favor, man. Make your dream a priority, and I guarantee you, you'll kill procrastination.
And that's a fact too. That's you definitely will kill it. And I like how you said you don't value it the way that you need to value it, because you only make moves on what you value. You know what I'm saying? Like, your eyes should be on the prize. Like you said, you want to start your own brand, but you don't value that brand. You just want the results of the brand.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Because what you value is gossip. What you value is hanging out with your homeboys, just talking about what y'all did in high school. That's what you value for 2 hours and 3 hours, wasting valuable hours out of your day. You know what I'm saying? Just being unfocused. When you take your eyes off the prize, that's where, everything, just becomes dysfunctional. And procrastination really comes alive in dysfunction.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you ask me, procrastination is detrimental to anything that you ever want to achieve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. To me, it's the step next to quit.
Yeah, you know what? I like
the very next step. The very next step next to quit.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Procrastination sets you up to give up.
Yep, it sets you up to give up. It sets you like you already here wanting to do it. Then all of a sudden you get discouraged. Now you start procrastinating. What you think? Like, think about that. Like, what do you think the next move is? What do you think your next move is when you start procrastinating? Now, you gave it 120, and then all of a sudden you start giving 60%. You start giving 60% to your dream. You start giving 60% to all the goals you done created for yourself. And then all of a sudden, you start giving 30%. Now, what do you think is next? Like, let's just be honest with ourselves on that one, man. What do you think next will happen? Eventually, you're going to quit. You're going to give up. You're going to give up. And you're giving up because it wasn't a priority in the first place. You didn't value it in the first place. Exactly. So make sure you do that. Make sure you make this thing a priority. If it's not a priority, it's gonna lead to procrastination, which leads to you giving up.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say one more thing before we recap and wrap this thing up. Like Coach said, you go 120, then you go 60, then you go 30. The reason why you quit is because of what I said in the beginning of this podcast episode. You get that false sense of overwhelmness. You feel like, you know what? I wasted so much time. I got so many incomplete tasks that I do not have done. How am I going to get this done? You know what? I'm about to just quit.
Yep.
All because you procrastinated. So, like we talked about today in this episode today, guys, take it one day at a time and keep your eyes on the prize. And you shouldn't procrastinate.
That's it, man. Easy peasy, man. Hey, man, it's your motivators. It's your inspirators, Coach Spaulding and Tay, man, saying have a great rest of the week and make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Stay blessed. Peace.